안녕하십니까. 뉴질랜드의 오클랜드라고 하면 세계에서 세 번째로 살기 좋은 도시로 알려져 있습니다. 그런데 실제로 오클랜드에서 사시는 분들은 어떻게 느끼시는지 모르겠나요? 그동안 오클랜드 시장의 모토는 세계에서 가장 살기 좋은 도시로 만들겠다는 것이었습니다. 그런데 특히 출퇴근 시간의 교통 문제는 상당히 심각한 정도입니다. 오늘은 오클랜드 시장 선거를 앞두고 시장 후보 중에서 한 분 모시고 얘기 들어보겠습니다. 존 팔리노 모셨습니다. Hello, John.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much.
I've seen your signboard on the streets. Yeah, and not many Korean people will know you. Could you introduce yourself a little bit?
Absolutely. I'm John Palino. 안녕하세요. And I'm originally from the United States. I've been here 21 years.
Yeah.
And I'm standing for mayor of Auckland. I ran last time as well. 3 years ago I ran. I came in second. I was a runner-up to Len Brown. And my policies are pretty much the same. And it shows now, today, that the things that I talked about 3 years ago are now happening today. And now they're saying, even Labor and National are both agreeing that we have to do my policies.
Okay. 21 years here in New Zealand. You know New Zealand very well.
Yeah.
It means I'm here 24 years.
Wow, you beat me.
I'd like to hear from you the plan for Auckland one by one.
Sure.
The first one, you emphasized reduce rates.
That's
It's
right.
very good news for Aucklanders.
Yep.
How do you reduce rates then?
Okay. Well, you know, my first policy was about reducing rates by 10% over the next 3 years.
Okay.
So 10% equates to $145 million. Well, in the past 6 months, our CEO, Stephen, has actually found $70 million. So he has found $70 million in their budget that they can save just in the past 6 months. Well, that's halfway there. That's already 5%. And I said that we'll save 10% in the next 3 years. And I want to give it back to the people. The people should not be paying for the growth of Auckland. They should not be. They should be paying for their services and the depreciation of their services. But they should not be paying for the growth of Auckland. The growth of Auckland is an investment that Auckland does and central government does together. But we're charging all the ratepayers for that growth, and that's not right. The unitary plan, the way it stands today, is causing us to go into debt. The way we're growing is causing our debt in infrastructure and everything else. It's causing us to spend money. It's the wrong growth plan. Now, as far as reducing rates, we need to run more efficiently. Council needs to be more efficient. Payroll is at 28%. Payroll should really only be at 22%. The way they purchase things, they're not shopping around. They're not getting the best value. It's not their money. And not a lot of care is going into that. So we need to actually start running a more efficient council. And we can do that. I've been a businessman my whole life. Since I was 20, I've been in business. And I understand what it means to be spending your own money and what it means to now spend the public's money. You have to spend it like it's your own. So there's a lot we can do to run more efficient. And like I said, I will reduce rates by 10%, and we're already halfway there.
Okay. And many people will be pleased.
Absolutely. See, the other candidates, they're not going to give it back. They're all saying that they're going to run more efficient, and they're all saying that they're actually going to save money. But they're not giving it back to the people.
Okay.
That's not right.
Very important thing. Okay. How long does it take from your place to here this morning?
This morning, about 30 minutes
Yeah. Your place is
in Koimarama.
Koimarama. I think the transportation system of Auckland is not very good. Terrible sometimes, especially rush hours.
Yeah.
Do you have any good plan for improving transportation system of Auckland?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, first of all, what is the root of the problem? The root of the problem is that we're intensifying suburbs. And we're putting people living in areas that they're not working. So, Transport keeps telling council to stop building this way. Council refuses to stop building this way. So Transport is saying, I can't fix the infrastructure if you continue to grow Auckland the way you're growing it. Now, I'll give you an example. I live in Kohimarama, Mission Bay, St. Heliers area. They want to intensify that area. So let's say they put 1,000 more people there. If they put 1,000 more people there, only 12% of them can use the public transportation, because only 12% of the working force works in the CBD. That means 880 of them have to use their car to go to work. We shouldn't intensify our suburbs. We should intensify areas like Albany, CBD areas, Henderson, the existing CBD, Manukau, and we build a new satellite city. If we do that, our future growth will be living where they work. Now, we have to protect our future growth, and we have to fix the current problem. The current problem we have right now is going to be hard to fix, but we can fix it as long as we stop growing, causing more and more and more and more congestion. So, right off the bat, we have park and rides. So you have in Albany, you have huge bus station.
Yeah.
Not enough parking. Not enough parking. We spend $300 million on the bus route, the motorway there, $300 million on that bus lane, but we don't build enough parking. Yet, a lot of people would use that bus, would take more cars off the road, but they don't build more parking because they don't want you to use your car. But if they don't want you to use your car and they build more parking, at least you could just drive to the parking spot and then use the bus. But they won't do it. And it's the same thing all around Auckland. All the train stops and all the park and ride stops do not have enough parking for people to use. And then we have commuter lanes. Well, someone forgot to tell them that when you build a commuter lane, you have to have commuter parking. There's no commuter parking. So if you and I want to travel in together, I'm not going to pick you up at your house. We meet at the commuter lane parking, and then we get on the highway and we go. That's the way you do it. So, an example with how we build up the CBD areas. If we say we take Albany, being we're close in this area here, and we intensify Albany with more apartments and residential townhouses, houses, but at the same time, we build the same amount of jobs. We build a city center, office buildings, theaters, restaurants, all that, so that we build both population and jobs. And if we build the jobs, like 30,000 people, same with the population, they don't need their car. They walk to work, or they just take the transit to that work. That takes all that congestion off the highway. That's how we have to grow the future.
Okay. Your plan is just making people not moving very much.
If you want people out of the car, you need to try and find ways where they live closer to where they work. And putting people into suburbs and intensifying suburbs works against that. Los Angeles is like that.
Yeah.
Los Angeles is bankrupt. Beautiful, big city, Los Angeles, bankrupt. Bankrupt because they intensified all the suburbs. The congestion takes 3 hours in the morning to go to work. Everybody works everywhere, like Auckland, and they can't fix it. They can't. The transport can't fix it. They put a train in, but no one's on the train because they're not going that direction. So they can't fix it. Now, LA, what they're doing is they're building little town areas where people can live and work. They're trying to develop that. Unfortunately, LA is so far gone, it's in bad shape. It's broke because they can never fix the infrastructure. But cities around the world, Brisbane, they built a city, a satellite city called Springfield, 200,000 people. Brisbane is one of the best run cities in the world. It's just fantastic. The costs are low, the rates are low, it's efficient, the transport's good, because instead of just keep building in the suburbs, they opened up another city 20 minutes away. Very good. That's what people do in the world.
How about building subways or one more harbor bridges or something like that?
Well, we do need, I believe we should be connecting Albany to the city. I look at growing Albany, Henderson, Manukau, and my new satellite city down in South Auckland. And if we do that, if we focus our concentration of people growing in those areas, then to build the transport between those 5 major areas, including the airport, becomes easier. Because instead of spending so much money on transport in areas where there's not a lot of people, you spend money on the 5 hubs, Albany, Auckland City, Henderson, Manukau, even the airport, and the new satellite city. So you spend the money on those. So now you connect them all. And if we do that, we could eventually connect back up all the way to Hamilton and all the way up to Whangarei. And now for the next 100 years, we've got a huge connection, not just for Auckland, but for New Zealand. And that's the way we need to grow.
Okay. The next problem for Auckland City is housing.
That's right.
Yeah. The house price is very high, I think.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, like anything else, if you restrict, you're going to raise the prices. So, for instance, if someone turns the oil tap off, the gas prices go up. So, what Auckland's doing is they're restricting land. They're not allowing us to grow, which is wrong. That restriction is causing the house prices to go up. But also that restriction is causing us to sprawl. People think by opening up the boundary, that means we're sprawling. Actually, we're not. And this is the reason why. We have our highway. It goes all the way from north, all the way down south. We have our train that runs from the city right down to Hamilton. If we open up the boundary and we build another CBD along that highway or the train, that's not sprawl. That's allowing people to actually reduce the use of their car. The infrastructure is there. It allows people to live, work, and play in one area. Now, by not opening up that boundary, we're forced to go way out west and way out east. Very far out. The motorway is in the middle. We're building way too far away from it. We shouldn't be intensifying far away from the motorway, because then between there and here, the congestion is unbearable. So.
But I think already the boundary is opened.
No, it's not.
No?
No, it's not open. No, we can't build on beyond the metropolitan urban boundary. And just open it and let everybody build everywhere, that's not going to be able to allow us to build more affordable housing. How we need to build more affordable housing is that we actually need to acquire that land, we need to rezone it, and we need to build enough for 300,000 people. And we can build, if we do that, we can build homes for as low as $300,000. The expense, the huge expense, is in the land and in the regulations, the council fees. So we have a piece of land that's worth $500,000. We have regulations to build that house cost $100,000. So there's $600,000. And the moderate price house now, down in South Auckland is about 800-something thousand. Okay. Now, if we build it beyond the metropolitan urban boundary and we acquire that land is only about $50,000. The infrastructure for the developer is about $50,000 per house. And then instead of $100,000 in regulations, because we're going to allow that developer to build, say, 3,000 homes, the regulations are only about $10,000 per home. So now, instead of $500,000 plus 100, which is 600, we're at $110,000. We just reduced that house price by $490,000. So we're able to build houses for $300,000, $350,000, apartment buildings for less.
People say the house price will go down near future, maybe sometime next year, like that.
Yeah.
Any reasons for that?
Oh, the one reason why house prices will go down is if the buyers stop buying. Outside of that, no. By opening up the metropolitan urban boundary will allow us to build houses for a lot less money, for less than half the price down there. But the house prices in the Isthmus area will still stay the same. Because if you don't want to live all the way in South Auckland, you still want to live in the Isthmus, you're going to pay that price for it. Which is fine, which is reasonable. We shouldn't have house prices going up so high everywhere. They should be much cheaper in South Auckland.
Yeah. Do you have any special plan for the economic development?
Absolutely. Look, when we build by intensifying suburbs, there's no opportunity for economic development. For instance, I live in Kohimarama. I walk out of my apartment and I want to build a restaurant in my neighborhood. There's no space for me. I have to go all the way to Takanini where my restaurant is. I have a restaurant all the way in South Auckland in Takanini called Friend of the Farmer. So I have to drive now 40 minutes to work every day because the opportunity is not there for me. So my neighbor might be a doctor. He goes, where am I going to open a doctor's office or a hair salon or a nail salon? I'm in a suburb. The commercial spaces are taken already. But yet we're growing by 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people in a suburb, but no possibility to open up another restaurant, or a lot of them. Yet, if you build up Albany, and you build up our CBDs and our satellite city, well then as we're building up Albany, or Henderson, or Manukau, we're building residential, and we're building office buildings and business centers at the same time so that these people are creating the jobs. These people are opening up the businesses. 95% of all businesses in New Zealand are small business, individual owners. So when we open up a brand new city in South Auckland that in the next 10 years, 300,000 people are going to be living there, there's going to be office buildings built, theater districts, restaurants, libraries. And by stage 3, I have a hospital being built, a university, restaurant districts. That's all going to grow at the same time because now you're creating the need to have business there because you're creating more people there. That's what creates business. Business centers, CBDs, create business and they create wealth for council. So if that's true, why are we building suburbs? We're building sleeping communities. They built Pocono. A lot of houses there.
Yeah.
Everyone gets up there and drives towards the city, right? But they didn't build the commercial area. They're starting to, but they should be building the residential and the commercial area. And then the residents, they go, I'm going to take the space there and open up. But there has to be enough people. For instance, Hobsonville, they spent $1 billion in infrastructure. They built 3,000 homes. That's roughly 9,000 people. 9,000 people is not enough to build a city center.
Yeah.
It's not enough to build another CBD. They should plan to do 40, 50,000 people there. If they do that, then businesses will open. Economic development will happen. But by building my new satellite city in South Auckland, that'll be huge, huge economic development. We are one of the best places in the world to possibly have research centers, health centers, research centers, hospital, a new university, possibly even a stadium. By building that new satellite city, we're allowed to build everything from ground up, efficient. You don't need your car. The best transport, the best environmentally safe building materials, and we have all possibilities. We can have the best new city in the world. And the CBD area will be growing just as fast as the residential areas, and that's what we need to do.
Okay, what do you think about the council system, Auckland Council? Sometimes too
Yes,
or
it's,
something like that.
Yes,
Very slow.
Yeah, it's way too bureaucratic. Yeah. Yeah, you know, ever since we had the earthquakes down in Christchurch and the leaky homes,
Yeah.
they've gone way too far. You know, it's become too difficult, and we need to change that. We need to change the culture in council.
Yeah.
We need to actually make them help us comply instead of being compliant police. So instead of being police and saying no, 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 they need to start acting, how do I help you? How do I make this happen quicker? So we need to get in there and we need to resolve a lot of this. Do you know that when I was growing up, I used to be a builder? I used to build homes, everything, foundations, tile, roofing, electric, plumbing. I used to do everything. And I think that's really, really important. If we want someone, a mayor, who's going to fix those regulations and make things work quicker, he better know what he's talking about. And I know how to build, and I know what I'm talking about.
오늘은 그 오클랜드 시장 선거를 앞두고 시장 후보 중에 한 분인 존 팔리노 모시고 자기의 그 오클랜드 플랜에 대한 얘기를 여러 가지 들어봤습니다. 아마 많이 도움이 되셨을 줄 압니다. Thank you for your time for today.
Thank you. 감사합니다.